Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen we're making an easy, decadent chocolate sheet cake. So let's get started. First off, preheat your oven to 350 so it's nice and hot. And now, in a large bowl, we're gonna combine the dry ingredients, starting with 3 cups or 360 grams of all-purpose flour. I also want half a cup of Dutch processed cocoa powder, that's 50 grams. Dutch process is darker and it's less acidic. It also gives you a fudgier baked good, so it's great for brownies and cakes. Cocoa powder is also prone to clumping, and that's why I'm sifting things out. To puff things up, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 and 2, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And for some contrast and to really bring the flavor out, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I will say you should know your salt. Some brands are very salty, some brands are less salty, and if you're using a finer salt, you'll fit more into a teaspoon, so you'll have a saltier flavor. To standardize the salt, most recipes will call for a kosher sea salt, for example. It's mild in flavor and the grain size are standardized. Okay, sift this out. And by the way, if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button. There's 2 new recipes every week. Oh, well, what do we have here? Look, a basket full of rocks. So this would have not mixed in really easily and given you some less delicious moments. Just press those out with a spatula. Now I have all the cocoa I need with no lumps. I'm not sifting this out, but I also want 2 2/3 cups or 530 grams of granulated sugar. The sugar will sweeten and soften your cake. If you want to reduce the sugar in any cake, you can. My mom loves doing this as one of her favorite activities. She's like, oh, I made your chocolate cake, but I used half the sugar. You could still have a delicious cake. It'll be less sweet, but I'm warning you, it'll be much less soft. Your trade-off is the cake will have more bready and firm texture. The sugar really does a lot to give you that soft melt in your mouth characteristic. Our scale is done, so I'm gonna set it aside and grab my whisk. Give it a whisk so everything is nice and mixed up. This cake is a stir together affair. I don't need my mixer. It's really easy and foolproof. And this is the kind of recipe that my kids love because they can help with every single step or even make it on their own with a little supervision. Nice and mixed up. I'm gonna set that aside and grab a medium bowl for my wet ingredients. For the wet ingredients, we're adding 1 cup or 240 mils of buttermilk. You could use whole or low fat. I prefer whole. Buttermilk is slightly acidic, so you're gonna do 2 things with that. React with the baking soda, which needs an acid, and the acid will inhibit the gluten from connecting and give you a more tender cake. That's why we use things like buttermilk and sour cream in our desserts. Speaking of which, half a cup or 120 grams of sour cream. In you go. One of my favorite ingredients. And if you don't have it, you can substitute Greek yogurt in. It'll also give you some tang and acid. We want some fat for richness, 3/4 of a cup of veggie oil. I love butter, however, most cakes are gonna live in the refrigerator as leftovers, and very rare is it that you're serving a cake that's just cooled out of the oven and iced. Butter will firm up and change the texture. Oil will stay nice and soft and be very forgiving. If you wanted to, you could do 50-50 and do half oil, half melted butter for the best of both worlds. 3 whole eggs, 1. I'm gonna be good and crack them separately, just so I know there's no shells. It's the best practice. Good. Any crunch in this cake would be from optional mix-ins like toasted pecans or walnuts. 3/4 of a cup. For some extra flavor, 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Right, give this a mix. Nice and smooth, and our batter is almost done. It's that easy. All right. The magic ingredient here is gonna be 1.5 cups of hot coffee, or if you don't like the idea of coffee, you could have hot water, so boiling hot water. It'll really help and wake up the cocoa powder. It'll bloom and give you better flavor. And I guarantee you're not gonna taste coffee in this cake, you'll taste just more chocolate. While my coffee is brewing, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my pan. I have a 9 by 13 inch pan here and I wanna fully line it with paper, so fold and cut away. Technically, you don't have to line your pan. You could eat directly out of here. It just makes serving it so horrible. I don't like that. But it's very convenient if you're transporting the cake to somebody's house. I like to remove it when I cut, so I'm gonna fully line. You could also just do a sling where you drape over the center. Four folds and 4 snips. I'm gonna use some baking spray, but it's just to glue things down, so. Plop that in. My Virgo sensibilities are very pleased. Nice. Fully lined and ready. And by the way, if you don't have enough coffee, you could add as much coffee as you need and complete the rest with boiling water. All right, add this in. I actually love using really hot ingredients sometimes with cakes, especially a sheet cake, because you're gonna have a warm batter that's ready to rise evenly. If you're using ice cold ingredients, when you bake the cake, the center will take so much longer than the edges. You'll have an extreme dome and the outside will be overbaked by the time the inside's done. Okay. Nicely mixed up. This smells delicious, by the way. I'm gonna pour the wet into the dry and stir until just combined. Make sure you used a big bowl for this recipe. It's a lot of batter. Make sure you don't have any dry pockets hiding around. One final scrape down of the bowl. And now we can pour right into our 9 by 13. My chocolate sheet cake is ready to go into the oven, 350 for 45 to 50 minutes, or until the center is springy when touched. In you go. My cake is cooling, so let's make an amazing silky chocolate buttercream. Into the bowl of my stand mixer, I'm adding 1.5 cups or 339 grams of unsalted room temperature butter. Your butter should be nice and soft. Look at that. This is a frosting I like with this cake, but you could do anything your heart desires. Cream cheese frosting? Why not? Chocolate cream cheese frosting? Swiss buttercream? The list goes on. Anything works here. This cake will be delicious. All right, we're gonna cream the butter up on medium speed for about 2 minutes until it's smooth and creamy. I also have 1 pound or 450 grams of powdered sugar, sifted and ready to use. Sifting is optional, but take a look at your sugar. If it's lumpy, just sift it out. You'll be so much happier. After 2 minutes, we're gonna scrape the bowl down really quickly, and then it's time to add some cocoa powder here. Into the bowl of my stand mixer, I'm adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, nice contrast, and 1/4 cup or 25 grams of Dutch processed cocoa powder. And let's sift that in. Cocoa powder is notoriously lumpy, and I want this to be a silky, consistent frosting. We're gonna mix this on low speed until it's nice and combined, and you should scrape the bowl down again because the top will be beautiful and chocolatey and the bottom will be pure butter. Yep. Once our cocoa powder is all mixed in, we can add the sugar in about half a cup at a time. And you'll do this with the mixer running on low. What I'm seeing in the bowl is reminding me of a dessert called puppy chow, which is really delicious, but dangerous to have around. Okay, this is looking great. I'm gonna add my last bit of sugar in here now. And while that mixes in, I'll tell you about my secret ingredient. Cocoa powder is totally fine. It does a good job for making a chocolate frosting, but you can take it to the next level by adding in a ganache. Or if you wanna be sneaky and you're in a bit of a hurry, grab some hot fudge, and that does the same thing. It'll make it more chocolatey, intense, and really beautifully silky. For this recipe, I'm using 1/3 of a cup or 100 grams, but honestly, you could add more as desired. I'm gonna add my fudge in right now. Yes, look at that. All right, we're gonna mix this on medium-low until nice and combined, and I have some cream here at the ready. If you want this to be a little bit more slack, or if this looks too thick for your liking, go ahead and add milk or cream in a tablespoon at a time, up to 3 tablespoons. Just a little bit. I like mine nice and loose. That looks lovely, but I will scrape the bowl down one final time. Lovely. Grab an offset spatula and let's get to decorating. Transfer your frosting right onto your chocolate cake. Yeah. I'll fix that. Look, it's fine. You can't even tell. See? There's no mess. And now we're going to just smooth it out and swoop it up. My favorite kind of decoration, swoopy, with a nice silky frosting. Okay, now let's just give it a couple swoops here and there. Make it look nice and pretty. Okay, that looks stunning. You can enjoy your cake as is. You could add a sprinkle of chopped nuts, shaved chocolate, or some chocolate sprinkles. This cake will disappear so quickly, but if you want, you can freeze it for up to 3 months, just wrap it really well, or keep it in your fridge for up to 5 days. Give it a slice, and just like that, your chocolate sheet cake is ready to enjoy. Soft, fudgy, delicious, fluffy, rich, decadent, with a perfect frosting to cake ratio. I hope you get a chance to make this delicious and easy cake. And if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button and check out my chocolate playlist.